guys 2 quick concepts for you to overview. Oftentimes you already know these concepts, but you just need to see them in your face again. Maybe it'll trigger a nerve in your mind and either some things that you're doing or not doing, right? The first concept that we need to know is simple interest. I know many of you look at that and say, I know what simple interest is. Yeah, I know you do, but you just need to see it visually. Let's say that you managed to save up $10,000, right? You have $10,000 and we're able to find a savings account that gives us 5% interest. The reality is you're not going to find a savings account that gives you 5% interest, more like 0.05% interest, but that's a whole different topic of discussion. But for the benefit of this equation, let's say that you're able to get 5% in your savings account. So at 5%, when we multiply that by 0.05 or 5%, we're going to get $500. Now, that's pretty good. You didn't have to do anything. All you had to do was let your money sit into this vehicle for a year, and you were able to get $500. So what do? You take that money, you go out on the town with your significant other, have a really, really nice night out, whatever that means to you, but you essentially spend down your $500. So what do? The next following year, you do the same thing. You still have your $10,000, you haven't spent it, and it's in this vehicle at 5%, and again, it's going to give you $500. So we can continually do this over and over and over again as long as we don't touch the $10,000, okay? Now, the other concept we need to know is compounding interest. And I know many of you know what compounding interest is, but again, you just need to see it in your face, okay? So see how it can be beneficial for you or see how it's being used against you, right? So, same concept, $10,000 at a 5% interest growth is going to give us $500. Except now, instead of pocketing the $500 or going out on the town with it, you take that $500 and you put it back into your initial principal amount of $10,000, which now becomes, for the next year, $10,500. Okay? Now we multiply that again by 5%. And this year, we're going to make $525. Okay? Hey, let's just keep it going. Next year, we add the $525 back to our principal sum, and we get $11,025. And at 5%, at the end of that year, you will have $551. As you can see how this is small but incrementally growing every year. The interest that is grown is being added back to the principal sum, and this is what wealthy people are constantly doing. Now let's go ahead and that's year 3. Let's jump ahead to year 10. What does year 10 look like? Well, your money's going to be more than 1.5 times your original principal amount, and it's going to be at $16,290. Now keep in mind, these numbers are not exact. These are averaged up or down on the pennies just to make the numbers right. Or you can see how these numbers actually work. But let's jump ahead to year 15. What does that look like? Year 15, your money is almost going to completely double from the original starting point of $10,000 at $19,800. So in 15 years, whatever money you put in, it's almost going to be double. Okay? Let's just keep it going. What does year 20 look like? Year 20, you're going to actually have 2.5 times your original sum at $25,269. Okay? And why not? What does year 25 look like? Year 25, you're going to have more than triple your original sum of money that you put in at $33,864. Okay? So this is just the mathematical equation of compounding interest and simple interest. I'm not even showing you of ways that people do this. I'm just showing you the math. It's as simple and straightforward as that. But it's important to realize that wealthy people are constantly doing this. They're constantly looking for ways for their money to work for them. So you have your daily job, whatever it is that you do, your daily grind, and then you've put a little something aside so that this effect can take place on that money. That's what you want to do. This is what wealthy people are constantly doing, and they don't do it with just one thing. I just showed you what happens when we're at 5%, right? When we get 5% compounding over time. What if you're able to find something at 7% or 10%? Or you have something really a lot riskier, between 12 and 20%, right? So this is what wealthy people are doing. They're constantly finding different streams, not just one, but numerous different streams to devise what exactly? Well, this is your nest egg. This is called passive growth. And this is what we all want. Because as we're doing our daily hard grind, you want to be working less as you age so that your money is working for you. And that's what this nest egg is all about. This is essentially your fail-safe, your safety net, your redundancy, your financial redundancy on your lifestyle, so to speak. That's exactly what we're striving to do here. And this is what wealthy people are constantly doing. Constantly using these two concepts within some sort of vehicle that devises a nest egg. And, you have a nest egg so that in the event something occurs, you can steer through it. So, for example, many people think, well, I'll just work hard and then I'll live off of my Social Security income. Well, if that's your plan, I hate to break it to you, but that's a very minimalistic plan, because the amount of money that you get from Social Security is so small and irrelevant that you are going to be really struggling with the cost of food and the cost of living and all the associated costs with living. The amount of income that you get from just Social Security is too small. So the goal is to start to create your own nest egg, no matter how big or small, so that it can help supplement whatever your Social Security income might be. So think of it as nest egg plus Social Security equals happiness, or wealthiness, or wealthy mindset. And this doesn't have to be a gargantuan amount, but it's nice to have that gargantuan amount, right? It's nice to have been able to accrue money in that way. And again, you want the passive growth. You want this to happen over time, and you want it to be able to have this safety net. Now, the reality is that, and I'm going to sit down for this. This passive growth is being done for you. I call this, you're doing this for yourself. Nobody can stop you doing this. This is you. This is for you. But if you're not looking at ways to do this for yourself, if you're not looking for ways to using simple interest and compounding interest to work for you, I assure you it's being used against you. I'm going to sit down for this. That's right. Your money, if you're not working on this, it's being used against you. Well, you say, well, what do you mean by that? Well, first in line, your credit card. Credit cards can be as low as 10%, but I've seen them as much as 28%, right? Now, I was just showing you what 5% growth can do for you over time. What is 28% doing for you over time? Well, I'll tell you what it's doing. It's stripping you of your happiness. It's skinning you. You're all the growth that you're giving to the interest of the credit card. Rather than it growing for you, it's being used against you. And that's what credit card companies and really smart businessmen have formulated. They formulated this to work against you. Another thing is, you have loans, right? You could have a lot of loans, and these could be high interest loans, 12%, even as much as 18%. You could have, a mortgage, a variable interest mortgage, right? This is very, variable interest loans are very, they look very, it's like really sparkly in the beginning because you have 3%, let's say a small 3% to borrow their money at 3%. And then what happens is over time, this jumps up from 3% all the way up to, say, 20%. The gist of it is that a variable loan can spike up. So it's in the beginning you can afford it. Later down the road you can't afford it anymore. And then of course you have student loans, right? You have many of us have large student loan debt and just other forms of debt. All of these things are working against you, using these same concepts of compounding and simple interest against you. So you want the money coming into your nest egg, or do you want to give it away? Many people will have their credit card and just say, I'm just going to pay the minimum on my credit card. That way next month, and I can do this, and I can get away with it, and then the next month, and then the next month. This is a snowball. This is the same snowball that you want working for you. The credit card companies, you're having it work for them. So you need to get out of this debt. You need to do it as quickly as possible so that you can start formulating your own nest egg that you can pull from in hard times in the event that it comes. Because let's face it, if you're in hard times and life can be difficult, you want to be able to pull from your own nest egg in the event that tough times have occurred. And you don't want to be able to be reliant on these guys because they don't care. They don't care. So now if you find yourself living here, I've been there before, you find yourself living here, I want you to download, it's either in the summary of this video or down below. It's called Undebted. What it is it's a free software. It's like a calculator where you plug in all your credit cards, all the associated interest rates that is tied to that credit card or that loan, and just line them all up. And what it does is it will show you the best methodology on how to pay these things down quicker and more efficiently with your current living standard. Or if you want to tighten your belt even more, you can. So there's 3 different methodologies where you can bounce back and forth as long as you're continually trying to pay down these debts so that you can start really working on your nest egg. Because it's difficult for you to grow, say, a nest egg at 7%, right? If you have 28% that you owe to somebody else on your growth. It's hard to start doing this for yourself if you're paying it to other people or other businesses, I should say. Okay, so go ahead and download that. I'll tell you what, now I'm not a financial planner, but it is important for me to stress that I'm not a financial planner. I have friends who are. If that's the direction that you're going with your wealthy mindset, I have some friends that I can direct you toward. But on the next video, I'm going to show you what it is that I do to help people create their own nest egg in a safe manner. So I'll see you then. Take care.